A pleasure to have you here again. My name is John Olisa, and as you might know, I'm a real estate practitioner and also a personal finance teacher. And for some time, I've been doing some live broadcasts on real estate and wealth. So today, I want to talk more about wealth, and the topic I'll be speaking on is on why the rich are rich and why the poor are poor. And there's so many of them. I'm currently even doing a 17-part series on why the rich are rich and why the poor are poor. I titled this 17 reasons why the rich are rich and why the poor are poor. But I'm just going to be sharing few of them with you here. So the first reason why the rich are rich is based on what we call the abundance mindset versus the scarcity mindset. The abundance mindset versus the scarcity mindset. And basically, what does the abundance mindset mean? It just means having the belief that there is sufficient resources, there are sufficient resources in this world to go around everybody. While the scarcity mindset means there is having the belief or the thought pattern that there is lack, there are insufficient resources to go around everybody. Now, what differentiates the rich from the poor is that the rich have the abundance mindset. They know that as long as you keep adding value to the society in one way, it increases your chances of being rich. So one of the world's richest men, Elon Musk, while researching on writing the article which I'm presenting here, I looked at his net worth. In 2018, from one source, I think it was about 25.8 billion dollars. In 2019, it was about 27.5 or 27 point something billion dollars. But by 2020, there was the COVID lockdown, and at that point in time, the Tesla stocks really skyrocketed. By November 2021, his net worth had risen to over $300 billion, about $340 billion. And he's a wealthy man who has the abundance mindset. And why do I say so? There was an interview we had which reflected his abundance mindset. Because one way to know physically when someone has the abundance mindset is that you see it in the way they communicate. So it was on an interview with someone, and the person said, was alluding to the fact that we have scarcity of water, and don't you think that this can be a cause of concern for you, for general humanity, scarcity of water? And Elon Musk countered the assertion. And before he countered the assertion, for me, what I get is that the person has a scarcity mindset. That's my own personal belief. And Elon Musk also attributed to that. He said, no. He said the world is made up of 70% water, right? So even if we run out of water, we still have water in the ocean and other places that we can desalinate and still have to drink. So even though it might be an expensive process, right? But your ability to do that provides enough water. So we see, this was the abundance mindset of Elon Musk speaking. Once you have that abundance mindset, your mind or your hands will see what your mind thinks about. Your hands will see what your mind thinks. So when the people just have the abundance mindset, and now they have the mindset, they attract wealth to themselves. Because they have the abundance mindset, they see opportunities to add value to people, to create products, to offer services, and they're rewarded with wealth. On the other hand, the poor have the scarcity mindset. They are always complaining. They always think there is never enough. And because they think there is never enough, they are blinded to opportunities that are around them. They are blinded to opportunities that are around them. So, for instance, in my country of residence, they said quite a number of millions of Nigeria live below the poverty line of 1,000 of $1 a day. And I would say I started becoming aware of the circumstances or becoming politically aware of my country's affairs in 1998. And almost since that time, I've come to see almost everybody keeps complaining about one thing or the other. And it seems like the country is actually only good in retrospect. But it's not true. So in as much, yes, I'm not downplaying the fact that there's hardship in the land, but there are people who are getting wealthy every day. There are people who are cashing out or cashing in on the opportunities around them to become wealthy, right? So to become wealthy, you need to start thinking abundance. Keep knowing that there is more to what you currently have. So have you looked at it? The wealth of the world's richest people keeps increasing every year. It keeps increasing every year. There was a time we didn't have even companies too. There was a time it was a big deal to be $1 billion company. Yes. But now, what everybody is rushing for is to be $1 trillion company, right? So this just keeps pointing to the fact that there's always so much you can have. There's always so much you can do. But it first starts in your mind, knowing that there is so much. Because whatever the eyes of your mind cannot see, you won't be able to get it physically, right? So you need to have that abundance mindset. Don't be like the poor people that always think, it's not enough. It's not enough. No, there is. Wealth can be created. Wealth can be created. Every year you have some people who enter the billionaires Forbes list. New people. So people keep getting rich every day. And it's what you focus on that will become your reality. So the second thing I want to talk about that differentiates the rich from the poor, or why the rich are rich and the poor are poor, is that the rich are avid readers of books, of educational materials. The rich are avid readers of reports, while the poor are not. And the perfect example that comes to mind when I talk about this is one person I admire so much in the business world, Elon Musk. There's one person I admire so much in the business world, Elon Musk. He's 94 this year, and he started business at the age of 6. And in year 2000, when he was invited to Columbia Business School to deliver a lecture on how to start an investing career or something in that life, somebody asked him for advice, right? And he pointed to a pile of books. I'm paraphrasing what he said. He said, read 500 pages of these every day, and your knowledge will increase, just like compound interest. He now sadly alluded to the fact that I know I've said it, but not many of you will do it. So you see, there is power in knowledge. Knowledge truly is power. Warren Buffett will be 94 this year, and it is said that he spends about 5 to 6 hours every day reading books, reading newspapers, reading financial reports, and so many other things. Mark Cuban, another American billionaire, also spent so much time reading every day, about 3 hours reading every day. As for Bill Gates, one of the richest men in the world, who was once the CEO of Microsoft, he spends his time every year reading about 50 books. So that's like an average of 1 book per year. So beyond formal education, you need to improve yourself. I would like to read a quote from Jim Rohn. He said, formal education will make you a living, while self-education will make you a fortune. Formal education will make you a living, while self-education will make you a fortune. So the rich, they keep reading every day. They keep knowing that there is something new always coming out, and they want to be ahead of the game. So that saying that readers are leaders is true. Readers are truly leaders. So the more you read, the better for you. But for the poor, they don't read, they hardly read. Once they leave tertiary education or tertiary institution, many times they just suspend reading. I read sort of a damning report that the average American who doesn't read well reads about 4 books a year. When I now research on my country, Nigeria, it even reduced. That the average Nigerian reads 1 book or less in a year. And It shows. It shows why they are not wealthy. So you see, reading books takes you to where you have never been to. Reading books gives you exposure. Just a few weeks ago, I finished reading a book by Wallace, no, Mr. Wallace, I'm trying to recall his name. He wrote a book on a guide to real estate investing. I'm in Nigeria, but I'm reading American books on real estate investing because I know the principles of real estate to a very great extent are the same. I read books on leadership, I read books on wealth, I've read books on psychology of wealth. I've read Rich Dad Poor Dad by Robert Kiyosaki. I've read Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill. I've read The Richest Man in Babylon by George Clason. These are books I suggest that you read. I also wrote a book on finance, my alphabet book of finance. Now it's a basic guide on finance, teaching those between the ages of 3 to 10 principles of finance. Because for me, I believe that is even the best period to start learning financial principles. Because finance and wealth is not taught in school. School was not created to make you rich. School was created to make you an employee. And you have that duty to go and study personal finance for yourself. So these are books you can read. So do you realize that if you commit only 30 minutes every day to reading, in a year, you would have read for about, yes, if you read 30 minutes every day, we have 365 days a year. You would have read for about, or 366 days in a year. You would have read for about 183 hours. So little drops of water make a mighty ocean. So start reading. Almost everybody I know who is wealthy was not born wealthy, but they started reading. Stephen Akintayo, a real estate mogul that I really follow so much, he started reading books like Rich Dad Poor Dad, and he opened his mind to possibilities. So please start reading. Readers are leaders. Readers are leaders. The next one I want to talk about that differentiates the rich from the poor is that the rich have money work for them, right? While the poor work for money. I'll repeat it. The rich have money working for them while the poor work for money. So in other words, the rich are passive income earners. So what is passive income? Let me just basically define. The passive income is income you earn while not paying or putting your active time into getting it. So passive income, you write a book and the sales money from the book, the royalties, passive income. You have music that you release, the royalties on your intellectual property, passive income. You own properties and you rent it out. Every month you're getting rent that constitutes passive income. So the wealthy know this. They don't work for money. They have revenue streams that they create, and these things now keep working for them. So even if they decide not to work forever, they are settled for life. So for instance, also the dividends on stock. So imagine you have stock now in Tesla, 1 million stock, and they're paying you dividends every quarter or every year. You have stock in Dangote PLC. You have stock in one real estate investment trust. The dividend is a source of passive income. So the rich do not work to earn money. They are passive income earners. And the passive income, they grow their income to a level where they can now take care of their needs. Right? And they do this through investment, as I've been saying. They also own businesses that are able to run on their own. They grow their businesses to an extent that the businesses are independent enough to run on their own and brings them income, right? While for the poor, they are active income earners. They must commit their time, they must commit their energy, they must commit their resources to working before they can earn. And the poor are basically many times employees and self-employed people. According to Robert Kiyosaki, in his income quadrant, he calls it the ESBI. The E and S are the employees and self-employed, while the B and the I are the business owners and investors. The employees and self-employed are active income earners. The business owners and investors are passive income earners. Now, employees and self-employed, they are financially dependent, while the business owners and investors are financially independent. So the poor, they must go to work. If they don't work, no salary. Or even though they have some small business, but they must keep going to the business unless they will not earn income. Now, many times, not everybody is born rich. In fact, in a book, Millionaire Next Door, the man who wrote the book, he said from his research, it was shown that 85% of millionaires are not born as millionaires. So don't feel bad if you're still an employee or a self-employed person. Your goal should be, how can you grow your assets to a level where your assets, where your investment now start working for you, so much so that your passive income can take care of all your needs. That is what you should be driving for. So don't just stay at being an active income earner. Grow. Your goal should be to grow so much that you are now an active income earner. So the next one I want to talk about, what differentiates the rich from the poor. Why are the rich rich and why are the poor poor? Is that the rich believe that wealth comes from intentionality. They believe that wealth comes from intentionality, while the poor believe in luck. The poor believe that wealth can come by chance. Now, because the rich or the wealthy believe in intentionality, they do not leave things to chance. They know that they cannot accidentally become rich. So they take responsibility for their life. They do not expect the government to make them rich. They make deliberate and conscious efforts to take actionable steps that would help them in acquiring wealth, that will help them in retaining wealth, and that will also help them in multiplying wealth. They are very intentional about it. They do not leave anything to chance. That's why many times they don't blame the government. Yes, there may be bad policy that they are not happy with, but to a very great extent, they live their lives independent of the government. They are independent in their mind. They are intentional. When you say somebody is intentional, they are purposeful. They pay attention to details. They know that to a very great extent, their wealth is in their hands. But for the poor, they believe in luck. They believe in chance. That's why you see the people who pay the lottery the most, the people who pay or play betting the most are the poor. Have you ever noticed it? Just take a look around. Where are the highest number of betting shops? Where are they? It's in the poor neighborhoods. So sometimes I go around in the neighborhood and I see so many betting shops. Because the poor keep thinking, okay, if I win this jackpot, I'll become rich. Now, you need to know, all these betting stuffs is not actually to make you rich. It's the people who created it that are rich. So let's say, for instance, using the Naira, you play 1,000 Naira worth of game every day. And up to 1 million Nigerians play that. That is 1 billion Naira going to the betting company. But maybe in a week or in a month, they may just do a lottery and only one person will win maybe 5 or 10 million. But in a month, they might have gotten up to 30 billion or even 10 billion or just a rough figure. I know I'm not giving a particular figure. So in Rules of Wealth, Richard Templar said something about get rich quick schemes. He said, be careful about get rich quick schemes because somebody is actually going to get rich, but that person is not going to be you. So you need to be careful of all these get rich quick schemes. You need to be careful of living your life to chance. To be wealthy, you have to be intentional. Wealth does not come by luck. And yes, on some occasions, people win the lottery, right? Even once, even twice. But many times, because they do not understand the principles that make for being wealthy, when they have such wealth, they eventually squander it. They eventually squander it. That's why many times the way to help people who are in poverty is not just to give them money. Sometimes, yes, you can give them to just bring them out of a dire circumstance, right? Dire financial circumstance. But you don't help them by continually giving them money. You teach them how to make money. That's why I said, do not teach a man, do not always give a man fish. Teach him how to catch fish. So it's in financial education that you can now replicate the principles needed on how to be wealthy. The principles needed on how to be wealthy. So just reiterating the principle, I said the wealthy are highly intentional, while the poor live their life to chance. Another reason why the rich are rich and the poor are poor is because the rich pay attention to their health, while the poor don't. The rich pay attention to their health, while the poor don't. The rich truly understand that health is wealth. They are aware of the fact that if they do not pay attention to their health, they will even have time to think about wanting to be wealthy. Because when somebody is sick, to a very great extent, what the person's most important desire is to come out of that sickness. So the rich do not wait to fall sick before they go for medical checkup. They have a routine on medical checkups. Once a year, twice a year, they go for medical checkup. They engage in daily exercises. It's not about a 1 hour exercise every day, a 10 minutes, a 20 minutes. They engage in exercises to keep fit, right? Not only that, they eat well. I was at a cooking exhibition and the chef said something. He said, eat food as medicine today so that tomorrow you will not eat medicine as food. I'll reiterate. He said, eat food as medicine today so that tomorrow you will not eat medicine as food. Now, I believe you understand it. If you eat good food today, it will act as medicine to your body. It will keep you healthy. It will keep you agile. It will keep you in a good state of mental and physical well-being. But if you do not eat well today, you will not start taking medications, tablets tomorrow, so much so as though it is now your food. There's some people that take tens of medications every day. Why? One reason could be because they did not eat healthy. So the wealthy pay attention to their health. But the poor do not pay attention to their health. Yeah, they say health is expensive, but not always. Are you aware there's something called the National Health Insurance Scheme? That with as low as 45,000, which is just about $30, you can sign up for the health insurance scheme. And by signing up, you get basic health care and you pay only 10%, right? You only pay 10% of what is needed. So maybe for a health product you want to get, that is what about 100,000 naira. Because you are signed up to this health insurance scheme, you just pay 10,000 naira. And it is legitimate. It happens in Nigeria. And with that 45,000, it covers 3 people. So please, you need to pay attention to your health. You need to pay attention to your health because health is truly wealth. You need to know that health is truly wealth. I'm just going to give about 2 or 1 more before I end today's broadcast. I have about 17 of them, but I've said about 4. And the next one I want to talk about from my notes is that the rich are resilient in their pursuit of wealth, while the poor are not. The rich are resilient in their pursuit of wealth, while the poor are not. So when you say somebody is resilient, it has to do with the person being dogged. It has to do with the person having the never give up spirit, the never die spirit in pursuit of what they want. And that's one thing about the wealthy. They are very resilient. They do not give up easily. They do not give up easily. I know for you, my viewer, you might have heard of KFC, Kentucky Fried Chicken, and how it's a global brand around the world. But many of you may not know the story behind the Kentucky Fried Chicken. Colonel Sanders, who was the creator of Kentucky Fried Chicken, he was born in 1890 in Indiana, right? At the age of 6, he lost his father, and his mother had to bring up their family. He had to drop out of school early in order to be able to raise funds to take care of the family. He worked as a farmhand, he worked as an insurance salesman, did all manners of job just to eke out a living. At the age of 40, he got his first social security check of $105. And he used it traveling around the United States of America, trying to get people who will invest in a secret chicken recipe. His proposal was turned down 1,009 times. I mean 1,009 times. At the age of 40, he had already started traveling around. Proposal was turned down 1,009 times. But it was finally accepted once. And at the age of 62 was when he started Kentucky Fried Chicken. It wasn't until he was 73 years old that he became a millionaire. And he died years later. Now today, Kentucky Fried Chicken as a business is worth about $10 billion. And it is a testament to the resilience of his founder, who decided to never give up, who decided to be resilient. He kept pushing. He kept pushing. He kept pushing. He kept pushing. So just imagine being rejected 1,009 times. So I did the math. If he was rejected, if he submitted his proposal once per week, that means he was rejected on a weekly basis for up to 20 years. For many of you, how many of you will keep doing that? Keep showing up for 20 years, submitting your proposal to investors. For 20 years, every week, you're being turned down, but you still do not give up. That has to do with resilience. But for the poor, once they face challenge or hardship in a business, they give up. They say this one is not for me. They go to another one. They spend 1 month, 2 months, 6 months, 1 year, 2 years, face challenges again, and they'll give up. They keep going around trying one business or the other. Little do they know that there is no business that does not have its challenges. You keep moving. You keep moving. You keep moving. You do not give up. So for instance, in this Facebook Live, I was about to quit, saying I'm not doing it. Why? Because 1, I do not have the best of phones. 2, because I'm doing a live video, it lags. I still use a 3G phone. And I said, okay, to prevent lags, let me pre-record the video before I put it out, so that it will be sort of straightforward, so that it will not have a lag. But because I have little memory in my phone, at about 3 minutes of recording the video, I was told insufficient memory, and I was like, let me just give up. So the reason why I'm doing a live is not just because I want to do a live. The reason why I'm doing a live is because I will not need to save the video on my phone. It just goes up straight. There's so many times I've wanted to give up, but I said, no, John, you've come too far. End of February will make it 2 years since I resigned from my 9 to 5 to pursue my passion, to pursue real estate. And it has not been easy. In fact, just about 3 weeks ago, I was close to closing a real estate deal of about 400 million naira, but it did not go through. And I was like, oh, I'm so tired, but I cannot afford to give up. If not, what stories will I say? I do not have the best of lightnings for my video, but I still have to come up. In fact, it was just January this year that my wife got a ring light. It was just towards the end of last year that I got a lapel mic. I've been doing my videos without lapel mic, but I just need to keep on showing up daily because I must have stories I need to tell. The same week I lost that deal of about 350 million, 400 million I was to close. That same week too, people called me for a deal that was about 500 to 600, 700 million. Only for them to call me, and when it was now time, they said they're no longer interested. And I felt so bad because when they were calling me for the inspection, I didn't want to go for the inspection. I knew that, okay, this day may not be convenient. So they wasted my time, wasted my resources. I just need to keep showing up. I just need to keep on being resilient. Keep on being resilient. And one day when I make it and I'm a trillionaire in dollars, people will say, oh, this boy, this man just blew. No, I didn't blow. I keep showing up every day. Go to my Facebook page. Go to my Instagram page. Go to my LinkedIn page. I keep posting on real estate every day. Houses, land. I keep educating people. Last week, I just educated people on real estate and AI. Every week on Mondays, I keep sharing my thoughts on wealth. My thoughts on wealth. This is resilience. I keep on showing up, irrespective of how I feel. In fact, I just said, I'm not even going to show up today. I just wanted to say I'm not doing. But I made a personal commitment that every month, I'm going to post a video on real estate and on wealth, on real estate and personal finance. And I have to be resilient. I have to keep on doing what I have to do, irrespective of how I feel. So my dear viewers, in conclusion, there are so many things that differentiate the rich from the poor. But I'll just tell you, everything boils down to two things. The rich know what the poor do not know. And they do what the poor do not do. In other words, the rich know what the poor do not know. And if the poor know it, the poor refuse to do it. So as I said, the rich one, they have the abundance mindset. The poor do not have that mindset. They have the scarcity mindset. And the rich know that as a man thinketh in his heart, so will it be. So because they have the abundance mindset, they know the opportunities, they inadvertently attract the opportunities to themselves. While the poor, because they have the scarcity mindset, still based on that mindset, do not see opportunities because of the scarcity mindset, and they end up being poor. Secondly, the rich are avid readers. They are knowledge consumers. They read books, they read newspapers, they read reports. They're always growing. I told the story of Warren Buffett, Bill Gates, Mark Cuban. They read. I read too. Read books. There's never a time I'm not reading a book, while the poor do not read. Thirdly, I said the rich pay attention to their health, right? The rich pay attention to their health, while the poor do not pay attention to their health. I also said from my book that the rich have money work for them, while the poor work for money. The rich are passive income earners, while the poor are active income earners. The rich have investments that work for them. The rich are business owners and investors, while the poor are employees and self-employed. I also talked about the fact that the rich pay attention to their health, and I also alluded to the fact that the rich are resilient in their pursuit of wealth. So much to be said. So much to be said. But you've learned something. I believe you've learned something. Knowledge without application is a waste. So what I've said to you today, go and start practicing it. If there is just one thing I'm going to tell you to take out from today's video, is the easiest way to start on this journey is to start reading books on wealth. Because to start changing your mindset. And as you start changing your mindset, you will start attracting those things to you. Even though you might be poor, even though you might not have the best of opportunities, but once your mindset starts changing, it's only a matter of time you will start engaging in the acts that will lead to wealth. And don't be surprised, you will become wealthy. So thank you so very much for giving me your time to join me in this broadcast. I remain John Olisa. I'm a real estate professional. And being a real estate professional, I am a realtor. I do realtorship work. I sell lands and houses in Lagos, Abuja, and Port Harcourt. As a real estate professional, I also help people manage their short-let apartments. So in that way, you can earn money on a monthly basis in real estate. You have an apartment in Abuja, 2 bedroom, 1 bedroom, a self-con apartment, and you want to earn money on a weekly basis. I can help you manage it, and every month you're getting a fixed income. Right? That's one thing I can help you do. And I also teach on wealth, how to acquire, retain, and multiply wealth. You can get my book, My Alphabet Book of Finance. It's available on Seller. My Alphabet Book of Finance. It has the book and the workbook. Remember, the rich and the poor have equal opportunities, but the rich know what the poor do not know, and they do what the poor do not know. So my action word or action point to you today is start doing. Start doing. And as you do so, you will prosper. Thank you so very much for giving me your time. Have a wonderful day. Bye.